Hello and welcome back to the Team Turner YouTube channel. Today, we've got some van content.
Don't try to stop me now. Don't try to stop me now.
This is my 1985 Chevy G20 van. It hasn't been introduced officially on the channel yet. It will be this summer. Currently the transmission is out getting rebuilt, so it's a little hard to move, a little hard to get out of the shop. But that doesn't change the fact that we have stuff to do before spring, before summer comes around. One of those things we're going to start today. I have a 32-inch Jensen 12-volt TV. We're going to be installing that in the wall above the minibar. And then we also have a custom bracket that needs to be made to mount it to the wall. And a little bit of wiring to do. So we're going to start tackling that today. I'm going to bring you along and show you around the van a little bit. So what we have, we've got some storage on the doors, we've got exterior speakers, there's the inside. There's the other door. Don't mind it, it's a little dirty, it's been stored for a few months. You can see there's the TV and the mount and all the stuff we're going to need for the TV install laying back on the bed. Got the Starlight headliner. There's a mini bar right there. It's got a fridge in it, humidor, bunch of cup holders, lights. It's got a wine bottle, champagne bottle cooler. You name it, it's in there. It's also got a subwoofer box built into the side. It's got an equalizer in the back that senses bass and will yeah, if you give it some beats, it'll give you a show. So we've got that. We're going to put the TV actually right here, kind of centered above the bar. So I've got to pull this this carpeted panel down and make a mount that's going to go back there so we have something to bolt the TV bracket to. Moving along, we've got the wiring compartment here. That's where everything on the left side of the van runs into, and it's kind of a junction box for everything. We're going to get the TV wired into that also. Up front we've got swivel chairs. They're actually the old chairs from the race car Cressida that we had reupholstered, put them on swivel bases, and now they live in the van. Full power, everything still works on them, and I love them. They're great. You got stereo speakers up front, CB radio, Pioneer head unit with pop-out screen. We've got custom VIP style tray tables with chargers and phone holders and you name it. I've tried to do everything I could in here. So I'll give you a better tour in the summer once it's warmer out, once I can drive this thing a little bit. But for now, let's get this TV installed. Okay, so to give you an idea of what we're going to do, this panel is going to come out. We've got to get behind it. This is the 32-inch Jensen Smart TV. It is going to go sort of about there. I'd like to be able to recess it a little farther back, but if we can't, we can't. Yeah, so it's going to mount centered above the bar, maybe tilt it down a little bit, and it's going to be on a swivel, so we're going to be able to turn it, move it around. It's going to be really nice to have, I think, in here. First thing we need to do is we need to get this panel down. It's just installed with some simple clips, push pin clips, trim clips or body clips they call them. I usually work them loose to start with a little screwdriver. Then I use my nice little trim tool and pop them out. So as you can see, we've moved the panel out now. There is a metal rib right behind this panel. There's a metal rib here. We're gonna have to make a structure of some sort that goes in between here because I need to mount that TV bracket in this area. So the next thing I'm gonna have to do is measure, make some templates, find some metal, probably square tube if I had to guess. We'll use some 1x1 square tube and probably make a frame. All right, so right now I'm just mounting the bracket. This is going to be a pivoting bracket so we can move the TV around, be able to view it from either outside the van through the doors. We'll be able to see it from the bed if we're going to watch TV in bed at night. It's going to give us some mobility with this TV. So the first thing we're going to do is going to mount this to the back of the TV so we can get an accurate depth measurement and see how far back this bracket needs to go into the wall to make this TV mount flush. Now, this was on Amazon. It's kind of a cool little unit. Very adjustable, but what it has is this pull rope here. So when it is locked in the stowed position, it actually will latch and will not allow the TV to come loose and swing away from the wall. It's actually a really clever design. They use it in RVs, campers and stuff. So this is what I've got to deal with to mount it. Let me get my measurements and see what I can do. Looks like I'm gonna have to pull this trim panel, at least I don't know if I have to pull it all the way off. I have to at least pull it away so I can get to this other rib and see what we got going on behind there. So I built this. It just has a bunch of Allen screws. They're 2.5 millimeter head black Allen screws. You just got to pull these off and this whole panel should come apart. Nice thing about having all the cup holders, I can put my hardware in them when I have to take something apart. So we have the panel tilted down a little bit. I don't want to take it all the way down because I would have to take the whole bar apart to get underneath it. But this is going to give us plenty of room to get to this second rib here. We need to get to that to be able to mount whatever it is we're going to put there as far as metal bracing and whatever for this mount. So yeah, I'm going to put a cord or a string or something on this just to keep it from putting too much stress on the panel and maybe cracking it. So I'm going to support that, and then let's grab some metal and see what I can come up with. piece is cut. Just want to make sure it's the right width before I go any farther. It is. It is about perfect, actually. I'll take it. I need to cut another one, same size for the bottom. Hi, welcome back. It's the next day, and I have painted and finished these brackets. These are what's going to mount the TV swivel bracket to the wall, and I'm going to just do a quick recap of what we did yesterday, now that the paint's dry, and show you what we've got. So the first one, this is going to be the upper. It's going to go on the wall. There are 2 studs for the top 2 bolts of the bracket where it would like bolt to the wall if it was in a house. It's going to set on these and attach with 2 nuts. We needed this to be recessed as far back as possible so the top is as close to the sheet metal of the van as possible to get the tilt right. So we're going to get this measured and put in position where it needs to go height-wise. Then there's 2 bolt holes on this end to attach it to one of the factory ribs in the wall. There's another bolt hole on this end. I was going to put 2, but I think we only really need 1. It just needs to bolt into this the other rib on the back side. So it's going to bolt here and here, mount into the wall. Now, I built a very similar piece for the bottom. Same thing, 2 bolts on one end, 1 on the other. I had to make this little cutout bracket ordeal because that the rib in the wall actually has like a bump molded into it that this has to go around to mount. So I made this little elbow bracket on the end. It's all welded up. It's super strong. It's not going anywhere. Unlike the top rail, I put the rib nuts flush into the surface because they need to actually stick out a little bit farther to get the, like I said, the level of the TV still needs to be vertical even though the wall of the van tilts in a little bit at the top. So we made this stick out farther. We may even have to put spacers on it to bring it out even farther. We're just going to see how it lines up once it's in the van. But the next step now is to measure height inside and see where we need to mount these at vertically. All right, so I've done some measurements and done some calculations based on where the TV mount attaches to the back of the TV. And from the bottom here, we need to measure up 17.5 inches, which is going to be right about here. That is where the bolts that you saw that are attached into the upper rail, that's where those need to mount. So right now, as you can see this, remember I was talking about the little cutout here, it needs to go around to this bump and mount. So we're gonna first, we gotta tuck this edge in. We gotta put this here. We're gonna slide it up till the bolt holes are just about, let's say where that dot is, about that point level. So what I'm going to do, the other thing that needs to happen, on top of it being level, you know, this way, tilted in or out, it also, these rails should be level side to side. So we're going to put it in the middle. The TV mount that I got off of Amazon came with this neat little level, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. And you probably can't see it in the video, but I'm going to get it pretty level. Now the van has a little bit of forward rake to it, which is common, but I'm going to actually mount these to where they're level gravitationally. That way, even though the van tilts a little bit to the front, it's not going to, it's not going to, like the TV's not going to, you know, fall to one side or something. So, get this in there, get the level right, and I'm going to make a dot on the rib here where that hole needs to be. I'm going to put a dot over here where that hole, and then the third hole right there. So now, let me pull this back out, and I need to drill those 3 holes. Now the other thing we need to keep in mind is what is on the back side of the ribs. So this one, obviously you can see, is main bundle of wires. This bundle of wires is everything that goes to the passenger side. It goes from the wiring box that's right behind the driver's door, comes up here, goes all the way over the ceiling. Some of it goes to the rear, some of it goes to the right side. We do not want to get into that with a drill. So I'm actually going to get a little piece of aluminum or something to shield this when I drill. The other one I have verified on the left side, there is no wiring or anything behind that. So I'm clear to drill into that side with no problem. I always want to say that because I've seen too many people drill into things that they shouldn't be and really mess some stuff up. So I'm going to go ahead and make this hole. Okay, now on the other side, let me go get that shield. Now, like I said, it's just a piece of scrap aluminum that I had. It doesn't have to be anything special, but I am going to just tuck it up into there where, there we go. Oops. I'm going to tuck it in there where I need to drill, and hopefully that'll save us here and block these wires from getting damaged. There's one. Where's the other one? There's the other one. Okay. Got my hardware picked out. Just regular M6x1 nuts and bolts. That's what I use on about everything because that's what's on most of what I work on. Import cars. That's all they have usually. So I'm going to go ahead and get one of these bolts started. So we're going to go in from this way. Okay. Get a nut started on that. Okay. There, that's started. Now I can get the second one going. Oops. The second one I'm going to go in from this side because there's more room. Boom. So I'm not going to tighten any of these down yet because I need them to be loose enough to move around a little bit once I get the hardware in. This one's a little tricky because I have to put the bolt in and then get real creative with my fingers on the backside and get the nut started. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this one tightened down because it's not all the way tight yet. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the TV mount. It's not tight, it's just kind of mocked up here. Two nuts holding it onto the upper rail, which is now bolted into the framing of the van. I'm going to make this easy on myself. Instead of having to do a bunch of measuring and whatever else, I'm just going to mount the lower bar to the TV mount first, and then mount it to the van, or at least mark it then, so that then I can figure out the height without any potential errors. There we go. About that. But so, as we can see, we're going to definitely need some spacers on the bottom. Where's that level at? Right there. So if I put the level, I know this is a crappy level, but it's going to work good enough for what we're doing. Yeah, if we bolt it right to, you actually use the actual plate itself. Okay, so if we bolt it right to here, it's not going to be level. It's going to tilt downward because the wall curves in at the top. So I'm going to need to put some spacers between there until it gets, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be pretty darn close. Luckily, I grabbed some of these little black spacers in various heights and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in between the mount and the hole where the bolt goes. And if my measurements are right, that is going to give us enough clearance or enough spacing to get our level right. Actually, there. Okay. Now obviously this thing is a little crooked and you know it's all sorts of needs to be adjusted. There. Now it's not pulling so hard to one side. But if I center everything up, that should be pretty doggone close. Check it with the level. Okay, we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up one of these upper nuts just to hold it. That moving anymore. So it's level this way, and now that it's going to quit trying to pull, I can check level this way. And I've got quite a bit of play to work with when it comes to this rail that it mounts to. So I think if we go right there, perfect. So now I can real easily stick this in here, mark my holes. I'm going to be able to get those drilled out pretty simply, pretty easily. And same with this one. Okay. bottom rail is in. These are solid as a rock. So I'm going to go ahead, I think I first have to, I'm going to have to trim this. It's going to be messy because it's actually fiberglass under here. I'm going to have to trim a couple of notches for these. So I'm going to go get my trim saw and do that real quick. Okay, so I need to trim out a little corner of this surround here to fit over my new rail. I'm going to use this. This is a, they call it a trim saw. It came in a kit of Porter cable tools I bought a long time ago. I figured I would never use this thing because it's just kind of a weird tool. This is the most useful thing I have ever dealt with for getting into corners, making little cuts just like this, where you need a little bit of trim or something just cut without having to take the whole piece out and run it through a saw. So we're going to go ahead and... Voila. So in less than a minute with that little trim saw, it cut out this nice notch. And this is fiberglass. This is hard stuff to work with. It's really not easy. I got to do another little tiny cut right up here, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, now this old t-shirt, that's what I used it for. Old rag. Did a great job of catching all of the little fiberglass shavings that came off. We can just roll that up and get rid of it. The next step now is I'm going to put this trim panel, I'm going to mount it back up to the wall because we're done messing around behind it, and then I can work on getting the TV and everything mounted. So now that the trim panel is back on, we can permanently mount the actual TV mount to our new rails. Okay. So now what this mount will do is it locks into position. So when the TV is pushed back, you can't pull it out. It won't swing around when you're driving. You'll have to actually pull this latch, and then it'll pull out. So fantastic design. I really like it. We'll see how it holds up on the road, I suppose. Okay, so the next thing we're going to have to figure out is our trim panel. Obviously, we're going to need a cutout of some sort for that to move around through. I think we're good to simply cut right below that bar, right above that bar, and just kind of make a nice little rectangular cut. I've put extra foam sound deadening behind here. It's gray, it's pretty nondescript, it's going to be dark and you're not going to see anything behind it. We just need enough room for this contraption to move in and out. So I'm going to mark a pattern onto here, probably with some masking tape onto my panel. I'm going to basically trace out a square, or however big I need to cut out, and then I'm just going to go at it with the little trim saw. Okay, so I'm working on the wiring right now. I've got the power cable going to the TV. These RCAs, they go up to the actual head unit in the front, so hopefully we can have the screen mirrored from the TV to the stereo up front, and at least communicate in some way between the two. That's how it's designed anyway. Tied these up real nice along here so that even when we fold it up, they're not going to bind. Everything is nice and tied up, so it runs around here. There is a gap between the panel and this board, so I'm just going to put a little piece of tape here to keep these from sliding around, keep them safe. The RCA's got coiled up here. They run up the ceiling, down the pillar, all the way around. They go to the radio. They're already wired in. The power wires, I've run it behind some insulation here. Secured real nice. They're going to come down through this spot. This is actually the box that controls the ceiling, the Starlight headliner. I have it off right now because it gets a little bit loud. But yeah, the power wires run into here and down into the electrical box. So this electrical box is much thanks to my dad. He's really freaking smart when it comes to this stuff, but he helped design this. He basically built this whole thing, and what I need to do is run this power and ground to one of these breakers. I'm probably gonna, it's distribution blocks, but they're fused. I'm probably gonna just pick a new spot on the bottom because I've got some room here. The grounds go over here, positives go over here. I'm gonna go ahead and get these hooked up. So this is the ground, and I'm going to go ahead and put one of these. I don't think a blue one will fit. I don't think. Let me see. No, it's got to be a yellow. It's a bigger gauge. Put one of these on here, get it crimped. Okay, so now I'm going to take one of these are all grounds. I'm just going to take one of these screws loose. Let me do this one. OCD gets a little weird when I'm in here. Everything's got to be a certain way in a certain place and run a certain thing. And I know it doesn't look like it's very organized, but it is extremely organized. And because of that, I can tell you pretty much what every wire goes to, does, etc. I'm completely normal and don't have a problem. Promise. Okay. So that's going to go there. I'm going to tighten the screw down. And then I'm going to run the positive. Might as well run it in a similar spot anyway, right? Okay, I'm going to run it down the bottom. And I'm going to put it in the first one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Cut the wire down to size. Oops. And strip this. Also, if you'll notice, we put a light inside of this box. That has been the most useful thing in wiring the entire van, I want to say. Because no matter how much light you put into this van, in this little corner here, this is right behind the driver's seat next to the bar, there is like no light at all. So yes, this light has been fantastic. And it just comes on with the mood lights, the cup holders and stuff. So you can also see, this is also the light that makes it so you can see into this thing at night when I have the all the lights turned on. There's a plexiglass panel in the cover for this box, and then you can see all the cool stuff inside of here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and run this down here the same way through this zip tie that already exists. You know what? We're just going to cut that zip tie off because it's too tight and put a new one on it. Nothing wrong with that. Alright. Same thing. I'm going to take the screw. Come on. I'm going to loosen that screw up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get this wire kind of tucked in where it goes. Put that there. There we go. Another zip tie to put on here. So yeah, adding stuff to this van is pretty easy the way that we designed it. Okay, now that this is hooked up, the only thing I have left to do is put a fuse in this hole here so that it'll turn on with the power. Now, TV calls for a 15 amp fuse. I'm gonna go ahead and put a 15 amp fuse right there. They have a little cover for this box. Now, they do actually have some nice little labels, and I am going to eventually do that on this box. But, you know, for now, I haven't got there yet. I know what the stuff is, my dad knows what it is, and we're the only two people that work on it, so that's what matters. Okay, wiring's done. TV is wired. Alright, getting back to one of the things I was working on earlier. This panel. So as you can see, I've cut a hole. And if all goes well, it's the right size and place for this hole. Look at that. Okay, let's get some pins in this. Okay, it's mounted. Pull it out a little bit. It's hanging there. There's a couple little screws we got to put in the back to hold the TV to the mount. Okay. Cool. Alright, we're going to get these just snug where we can still adjust. Well, actually, first of all, we'll go ahead and get these plugged in. AV white, red, and yellow. Looking fantastic there. And then the power cable gets hooked up here. Go with that. Okay. Boom. Okay, it clicks back into place. We just have to set the tilt level on it, which I'm going to put about here and hope it stays. It's probably not going to. Let's see if I can tighten these two screws up to hold it in place. Okay, those are tight. So are the rest of them. Boom. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's see what happens.
I'm missing and I'ma come and get it. I'ma be everywhere I'm at.